Great. So previous class, we were solving this problem where we had solved y on x, right? So where the x value is given and we predicted the y value. Now let us go to the next regression equation that we are supposed to solve, that is x on y. Okay, so here y value is given to us and we have to solve x. Now in this, the second part that we are supposed to solve, the table calculation will remain same. Okay, we are not going to change any table calculations. We are going to take same values and we will be assigning to the equation. But let us check the equation. Now if when it is x on y, the equation will be a plus by. Okay, when it is y on x, you have a plus bx. I hope you are able to get the difference. Yc is equal to a plus bx is for y on x. And plus and for x on y, just the places of x and y will interchange. Okay, so you have xc and by. We have just interchanged the places of x and y. And then the equations are sigma x is equal to n into a plus b sigma y, and sigma xy is equal to a sigma y plus b sigma y square. Okay, so what happens? We have found out everything. We have xy, y square, x square, total of y and total of x. All the required numbers are already present. What we have to do is to solve. We have to solve x on y. Now, after predicting the value of y when x is given, now let's solve for the next one. So for the simultaneous equations, we have sigma x is equal to na plus b sigma y. So what is the equation here? If you see, sigma y is equal to na plus b sigma x. In the place of y, if you have x in all the situations, then it will become x on y. Okay, in y on x, you will have y in the place of x and x in the place of y, but in x, it's the other way round. So we have two equations which are simultaneous equations. Now let us assign all the values from the table that we solved in the starting. So sigma x is 35, n is 5, n will remain same for both x on y and y on x, that is 5 into a, and then b is 40. Sorry, sigma y is 40 and b is the unknown variable which we'll have to find. Then sigma xy is 260 and 40a plus 33 for b. This is small a and small b. These are not big A. Okay, so these are small a and small b. You cannot use capital A and capital B. Okay, that must be some printing mistake. Now we are supposed to solve these two equations simultaneously. Now for solving these two equations, I am supposed to equate one of the variable of the both equation, either A or B. I am supposed to equate. Now if you see the first equation, I have 5a, right? I have 5a. Now here I have 5a, but here I have 40a. Now I can, if I multiply this 5 with 8, I get 40. 8 5s are 40 I get. And here it is already 40a. So if I multiply the second equation with 1, I will be able to retain the equation. So what I'll be doing is, I will multiply the first equation whole by 8. Why am I doing this? So that I get 40 here, 40a here, and I can eliminate this. So I will find the value of b. Fine. So that is why I equate. Then moving further, my new equations after multiplication are going to be 280 is equal to 40a plus 320b, and the second equation will remain as it is because I had multiplied it with 1, and 260 is equal to 40a plus 334b. So now since you have got 40a and 40a, let us subtract both the equations. We will minus both the equations. Now once we minus both the equations, the signs will change. So plus will become minus. Here also it was plus, it will become minus. This plus also will become minus. Now if you see here, plus 40a and minus 40a, these two will get cancelled. Now once these two get cancelled, find the difference between the other two. That is 280 minus 260 is 20. 320 minus 334b is 14b. So therefore, I got the value of b, saying b is equal to 20 by 40. Okay, 20 by 40. This is supposed to be 14. It's not 40. There's some problem here. Yeah, 20 divided by minus 14. It's not 40. Okay. So what do you get here? You get 1.428. Okay, you get 1.4285 something. So you can round off and write it as minus 1.43. Fine. So this is the value of b that you get. So 20 by minus 14, you get value in minus. Did you all understand until here? Yes or no? Did you all understand until here? Any doubt? Any part you want me to repeat it again? Okay. Now substitute this value of b. Substitute this value of b in any one of the equation. So we have taken equation number 1. See, we have taken equation number 1, that is 35 is equal to 5a plus 40b. So that is the equation 1. Now in the place of b, we are going to substitute minus 1.43. Okay. So once we substitute minus 1.43, we will get 40 into minus 1.43 will get minus 57.2. So 35 is equal to 5a minus 57.2. So I'm going to take 35 to the others, 35 to the other side and 5a to the other side. I'm just exchanging the sides here. So what do I get? 5a is equal to 35 plus 57.2. Okay. Now to find the value of a, is nothing but 35 plus 57. How much do you get? 35 plus 57. You get 92.2, and divide it by 5, you get 18.44. So the value of b is 1.43 and the value of a is 18.44. Now let us put this into the regression equation, that is ax is equal to a plus by. Okay, so x is equal to a is 18.44, b is minus 1.43 y. Okay, now if you go back to the question, they have given us the value of y and they've asked us to find the value of x. So after finding the equation here, that is x is equal to 18.44 minus 1.43y, in the place of y, I am substituting it with 10. So when I substitute that with 10, the value of x is going to be 4.14. Okay, so this is how you solve x on y problems. Did you all understand? Any doubts? So that can be your section B question. They can ask you to solve x on y or y on x. Both can be asked. If at all they're asking for 14 marks also, there is a possibility of asking that question. If it is for 6 marks, they can ask any one, x on y or y on x. Okay. Okay. Now, moving further, regression equation through regression coefficients. Now, this is something which we solved in time series, where we directly use the formula to find A and B, and then we got the equation. Okay. So, how did we get all that coefficients? Let us understand here. So, a regression, one second. Regression equations through regression coefficients. A regression coefficient represents the increment in the value of the dependent variable for a unit change in the value of the independent variable. So suppose if there is 1 unit change in the x, what is the changes that will happen in the y? Okay, so that is what we are going to learn in the regression coefficient. So if there is any minor changes in the x, what is the changes that can happen in the y? So there are many questions. See, 2 compulsory questions will come from this topic. Okay, with regression equations. One question usually asked in 2 marks. That is there, usually there, but few times they will miss it out. But one question in section B and one compulsory question in section C will come from regressions for sure. Fine. So we will learn it in detail properly. So when we have 2 regression equations, that is yc is equal to a plus bx and xc is equal to a plus by. These are the 2 equations. One is y on x, another one is x on y. B is the slope of the regression line, is regarded as the regression coefficient. So B, what you have here, no, bx and by, this is called as the slope of regression line, and that is regarded as, or that is considered as, regression coefficient. Okay, since there are 2 equations, we will have 2 coefficients. Okay, now let us see the coefficients one after the other. So we have regression coefficients for y on x and regression coefficients for x on y. Same thing, x on y on x will be there in regression all the time. Okay, in this, the first one is y on x. It is represented by byx. See, first is y and here also first is y. So y on x, byx is equal to, what will be the formula? Covariance x comma y whole divided by variance that of y. Fine. So how do we follow, or how do we solve this? It's very easy. You have another small formula, which is nothing but r. Okay, r into standard deviation of y series divided by standard deviation of x series. That's all you'll have to do. Okay, r is nothing but coefficient of correlation. If you remember, we have solved enough problems under Carl-Pearson's coefficient of correlation and Spearman's rank. But here it is a small r. Small r means Carl-Pearson's coefficient, right? If it is capital R, then it is Spearman's rank correlation. So small r is the coefficient of correlation using Carl-Pearson's, and then we will have to find the standard deviation of x series and standard deviation of y series. So this will give us the regression coefficient of y on x. Did you all understand the first part? Did you all understand what is this regression coefficient? Any doubts still here? Okay. Now moving further, in the regression equation, yc is equal to a plus bx, the multiple b, which represents the slope of the line is called coefficient. If they're repeating the same thing, coefficient of regression of y on x, it represents the change of y with respect to change of x. So whatever small slight changes that happens in x and y are seen here, and it is denoted by byx. Okay, and then regression coefficient for x on y. Okay, in x on y, again covariance xy by variance x. So if you see here, covariance xy by variance y for y on x, here y is the priority, but in here x is the priority. So r into x by standard deviation of x by standard deviation of y should be found out. Okay, and then regression equations can be easily arrived by using regression coefficients. For this purpose, mean, standard deviation and correlation coefficients are calculated, and you can use the deviations from actual mean or you can use it from assumed mean. Both can be used here. Okay, so they have given certain derivations here. If you are using from assumed mean, how you will have to work. If you're using from actual mean, how you will have to work. Okay, so let us get into the problem and understand how to solve it. Fine. So here the regression equations of x minus x bar is equal to bxy, y minus y bar is attained. Now, how did they attain the complete equation or complete formula is being explained. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll see the formula and come back to the problem. I think that will make it much easier for you. Fine. So here, if you see the derivation of the formula, firstly, you know what is this? This is regression equation of y on x. So yc is equal to a plus bx and the simultaneous equation. Okay. Now, when deviations are taken from actual mean means x bar and y bar. Okay. In such case, what will be the regression equations or regression line? That is what they are trying to derive. Now, in that case, the regression line of y on x, that is yc is equal to a plus bx. Now, if you are taking deviations from actual mean, you are supposed to subtract the values of y with y bar and values of x with x bar. Correct? So what they will do is y, small y. Okay, small y is nothing but y minus y bar and small x is nothing but x minus x bar. So they have substituted that y minus y bar is equal to b into x minus x bar. So y is equal to b into x. You can see this, right? Y minus y bar is nothing but small y. X minus x bar is nothing but small x. Okay. Now, we will go to the next equations, that is normal equation in the terms of small y and small x. So what we will have, sigma x minus x bar is equal to sigma x. Okay, sigma x is the series, x bar is the mean. So if you find the deviation and add all the deviations, that will be sigma x, which will be equal to 0. Suppose we are assuming that it will be equal to 0. Then sigma y minus y bar also we are assuming it to be 0. Now in that case, you will have to put these values of sigma x and sigma y as zeros. So what you will get here? Sigma y is 0 is equal to n into a plus sigma b into sigma x is also 0. So what is remaining? 0 is equal to NA is what is remaining with you. And here A is equal to 0 by N, which is nothing but 0. So the value of A is also 0. Now substitute this A is equal to 0 in one of the equation. Let us take the second equation. Sigma xy is equal to A into sigma x plus B into sigma x square. So if I substitute A is equal to 0, 0 into sigma x is 0 plus sigma x square. Correct? Sigma x square. So then what will happen? B is equal to sigma, okay, wait. B into sigma x square is equal to sigma xy will be remaining. So B is equal to sigma xy by sigma x square. I've brought this down. So this is the value of B you get when you substitute sigma x and sigma y as 0. Okay, so the Byx, the formula will be sigma xy by x square for y on x, and similarly for x on y you will have xy by y square. So this is the derivation. Now let us get into the problem for you to understand this even better. Now coming to the problem, from the following data, obtain the regression equation x on y and regression equation y on x. Both they have asked. Now coming to x, we have the values and y values are also there. Now coming to the problem, first is tabular calculation or the table calculation. Okay, for finding the regression equations, we have to do this. Now firstly, we are taking the derivations from actual mean. Okay, actual mean. Actual mean is nothing but x bar and y bar. So to find x bar and y bar, what is the formula? Sigma x by n, sigma y by n. We have solved this many times. So add all the values of x, you'll get sigma x, or add all the values of y, you'll get sigma y. So sigma x by n, what is n? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number of data given to us. So n is 5. 30 by 5, actual mean is 6. 40 by 5, actual mean for y is 8. So this is the first part of the calculation. Now moving further, we have to find the derivation. Before finding the derivation, do you have any doubt until here? Any doubts? Understood? Okay. Now moving further is the deviation you have to find. Deviation is small x is equal to x, that is these values, x minus x bar. X bar is what? 6. The value of x bar is 6. So what all do we have here? We have 6 minus 6, which is 0. 4 minus 6 is minus 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. 10 minus 6 is 4. 2 minus 6 is minus 4. So we get the deviation values here. And if you see, minus 2 plus 2 will get cancelled. 4 and minus 4 will get cancelled. So what do you get? You get sigma x as 0. Okay. Next, coming to small y is equal to y minus y bar. So y bar is nothing but 8 here. So 8, I'll write 8 here. Okay. So y is equal to, let me choose a different color. Yeah, y is equal to 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 minus 8 is 0. 7 minus 8 is minus 1. 5 minus 8 is minus 3. 11 minus 8 is plus 3. So again, if you see here, 1 and 1 will get cancelled because plus 1 minus 1, then plus 3 minus 3, again sigma y is equal to 0. So sigma x also you will get as 0. Sigma y also you will get as 0. Okay. Now next, square the deviations, that is small x square. So if you square all of these numbers, you get x square. If you square all these numbers on y, you get y square. So that will be the values of x square and y square. If you total them, the value of x square is 40 and the value of y square is 20. Okay, so we got x square, y square is all completed. Now, moving further, the last total or the last calculation that we need or require is x and y. So this small x and small y, what we have seen here, small x and small y, if you multiply, you get xy. So firstly, 0 into 1 is 0, minus 2 into 0 is 0, 2 into minus 1 is minus 2, 4 into minus 3 is minus 12, 4 3s are 12 and minus sign. Again, minus 4 into 3 is minus 12. So we get the final total sigma xy is equal to minus 26. So this will be the tabular calculation where we are finding the total of x, the total of y. So that will be used for actual mean. Then find the deviations. Now once you find the deviations from x, the total of that will be 0 and the total of deviations from y also will be equal to 0. Okay. Then x square and y square has to be found out. Small x square, that is deviation. Deviation square of x and deviation square of y should be found. And finally, multiply the deviation of x and deviation of y. So when you do this, you'll complete the table calculation. So any doubt in the table calculation? Any part you want me to repeat? Compulsory question for 14 marks it will come, and it's very easy to solve. All that you see is the calculation and application of formula. So do not miss such questions. Everybody is clear? Can we go for regression equation? Okay. Now, regression equation y on x, regression equation x on y. We are going to solve it together so that you will understand the difference, and it is easy also if you solve it like this, so you might not get confused. Okay. So firstly, regression equation y on x. What is first? Y is first. Okay. So everywhere y will be first. And if you see here, x is first. So everywhere x will be first. Okay, that is one of the logic where you can understand and remember this. Now let us solve the equations. Y minus y bar is equal to byx into x minus x bar. This is very, very important on both the sides. If you remember one, you can solve for both. Okay, if you remember at least this one, this is y on x. How do I remember y on x? First, what is there? First, there is y. So, first is y. And then what is there? X. Next is x. So, y on x. Fine. Now, coming to x on y, first there is x. So, first there is x. Next there is y. So, then next is y. That is how it will be easy for you to remember. Clear? So, y minus y bar is equal to byx. See, everywhere, wherever y is first, put y first. Okay, byx is into x minus x bar. So, what is the formula of byx which we derived there? It is nothing but sigma xy divided by sigma x square. Okay, so if you remember this part here, sigma xy by sigma x square. Only here it is ulta. First is y, but here we are doing it as x square. Okay, so byx value is nothing but sigma xy by sigma x square. So this we got the formula. Now we know what is y bar, we know what is x bar. Okay, so y minus 8 is equal to sigma xy. What is sigma xy? Minus 26 divided by sigma x square value is 40 into x minus x bar is 6. Okay, now let us do the simplification. So y minus 8 is equal to minus 26 by 40 will give me 0.65, and then into x minus 6 will remain as it is. Now in the next step, multiply these two. Minus 0.25 into x will give you minus 0.25x. Minus 6 into minus 0.25 will give you plus 3.9. Okay. Next step, I will take this minus 8 to the other side. So it will become plus 8. Rest all will remain same. It will become plus 8. Now if you add 3.9 plus 8, you get 11.9. Okay. Now if you see the equation, it is y is equal to minus 0.65x. So minus is in the first place. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just changing the place a little. I will put the positive number first, that is 11.9, and then the value of the minus will go next. So this, you get an equation of regression where it is y on x. Okay, this is the first regression equation, y on x. Did you all understand y on x? Any doubts in that? Understood or not? Okay, can we go for x on y? Okay, now the next one is x on y. Now x on y, since x is in first, everywhere x will be in first, as I told, except for one place, that is here. Okay, you can see y square here, and you can see x square here. This is the only place where they will not be in the prominence. Rest all the places you can see, if x is first, x will be in the first place, all in every other place. Now same formula, very similar, but only exchange the places of x and y. So x minus x bar is equal to bxy. It's not yx, it's going to be bxy is equal to sigma xy will remain same, but in the denominator sigma y square. Okay, into y minus 8. Sorry, y minus y bar. 8 we will see later. Y minus y bar. Now, x minus, what is x bar? 6 into, is equal to sigma xy is minus 26 divided by sigma y square is 20 into y minus y bar is 8. So y minus 8 is the value. Now in the next step from here, listen carefully. Minus 26 by 20 is minus 1.3. Then in the next step, you have to multiply minus 1.3 with y minus 8. So minus 1.3y plus minus 1.3 into minus 8 is plus 10.4. Now this side I have minus 6. So I get it to the other side. It will become plus 6. Now, once you have plus 6, then you will be able to add these two and you'll get an equation. Again, put the positive number first and the negative variable next. So the value, the regression equation x on y will be x is equal to 16.4 minus 1.3 y. So in the question, they asked us only to fit a regression equation. So if you see here, from the following data, obtain the regression equation. Since they had asked only for equation, we have formed the equation. So you just have to form the equation and leave it. You need not solve the equation here. Okay. If you get the equation to this format, it is more than enough. You will get full marks. So this subject is very easy to score full marks if you do everything correctly. In between, if you do some mistake, rest all the steps will go wrong. So you have to be careful. So any doubts? Any doubts here in this problem? Everybody understood? Good. Okay. Now moving on to the next problem. Here also we have to form the regression lines of x and as well as y. But there is one extra work that we have to do at the end, that is by substituting the values. First we will form the equation and then we will see what is to be done. So to form the equation, I think it's better you people try this problem and we shall discuss it tomorrow in the class once again. Same like the previous problem, first find the regression lines and then we shall substitute the value of x and y and get the equations or get the numbers. Okay, will you try it? Yes, everybody will try. Good. Okay, I'll send you this question or you can copy down. One more thing, I'm going to send an assignment for correlation. Okay, there are few problems which I've given. You have to solve those problems in the blue book. Okay.